Hello, again, anybody who's paying attention, I guess, to my previous release about a fighter. Uh, like if you decide to go play the game for free and roll up a fighter to start uh, the game of Dungeons and Dragons online. Uh, I released a video about the fighter that's titled on YouTube for beginners, and I realized after I watched the video a couple times that I still probably missed some things that people might need to know. And so for the first part of this video, I'm going to try and make it short. We're going to go over that. Uh, mostly stuff that people never explained to me when I started playing. So so we'll just start right there. The first thing is if you did roll up a level 1 fighter, and you probably, well, I don't know if maybe you did watch that little explainer or you didn't, is you're coming out of the game bare naked, and I'm going to go to that location. Well, mildly bare naked, I would say. You're moderately dressed if you made it through the first part of the Korthos storyline. I believe they give you some beginner equipment. And then the things that I wanted to go over were commands. Like you got your mouse and a keyboard, I assume. There are people that play on Xbox, so I'm not sure about what the controls are, but what I will do is go through for a PC user. Um, the the mouse, the left click is always going to be your attack or access icons or non-player characters in the game. This is the harbor area, and here's Harbor Master Zin. When you just hover your mouse over him, you can see this little chat window comes up. And I left click, and he's giving you a new thing. Talk about, I've already done this quest. So he's giving me new information. And what you're doing is I'm just going to close that window by left clicking. Your right click locks down your vision. You can see the little circle appears in the middle of my video, and I'm holding down my right click. And this is a little thing like that people can use to specifically target areas of the map, like with spells. It doesn't really help me right now as a melee, or like if I'm shooting a bow, that is the exact circle where you're going to be shooting while you hold your right button down. Sometimes you have to aim for specific targets. And I'll just do that with the bow. I know we're not going to be able to see where the thing lands. Maybe I can find somewhere where it will go. I'm going to just shoot right at that uh, Gustan, the city engineer. Oops. It's not. You can see kind of the arrow going into distance if you're watching in HD. But that's the purpose of the right click. As a melee, you're not really going to be using that so much. Your center wheel button, some advanced mouses have a mouse speed on there, but your center wheel is your zooming your character in and out for its perspective in the game. I like mine backed up so I can see what's in these areas around me. You know, if you really want to get first person, you can go into like just look mode by zooming in. Like I can't even see my weapon swinging. Next is all these bars. I think you start with 2 bars at the bottom of your screen. These are all hot bars, they are called. And mine are locked currently. So I'm going to unlock them to show you how to, I guess, raise another one up if you need to. Control, equal, and control plus held together will lock them and unlock. If the bar is unlocked, sometimes when you're fighting, you'll click on this and be moving it around the screen instead of attacking. So that's why I always lock them in when I get loaded stuff in there that I want. Okay. So what I just did is unlocked, and then one of these guys has a little number by it, and mine's the first one here, hotbar number 1 through 10 on your keyboard. And the little arrow that's on the side of it jogs to other bars, and you can put any one of these up by clicking the arrow all the way on the side, and then you can drag this all around your screen when this little star shows up wherever you want. You can also turn it by selecting this little arrow that looks like a little, it's like a half circle, and that turns it to the other plane. And you can drag and put that and line it up however you want. If it's stuck in the middle here, you're not going to be, it might interfere with your vision. You can move these anywhere you want and load whatever in. But your number 1 is usually real important stuff that you're going to need all the time. Well, for me it is. You can decide on whatever you want because it corresponds with the number keys on your keyboard 1 to 10. And there is a way to flip this, but I don't play with that style. I found that um, even more crazy. Like you can flip to hotbar 2 in game while you're fighting and have number 2 loaded for the number alignment on your keyboard if you want to take it that far. Some guys have gamer mouse with another 10 buttons for their thumb too, where they load specific things or actions that they use all the time. And that takes some getting used to too. So that's whatever you want to do. Now, since I put that new hotbar up there, I will open up my character sheet and my skills page. And I will just, you can drag almost any of these things into there. And then it's clickable on screen by mouse. Like if, for instance, I'm going to go to feats. And like a beginner fighter feat is trip. You can see it's got a square on it. And this is just a specific ability, to try and trip an opponent based on your strength. And I'm just going to drag it, left click and drag, and just line it up with wherever I want it. I just put it up here now just for show and tell. I also have it loaded already as my number 1 button down here in the lower left hand corner. Some of my monk feats, if you started out as a fighter, you're not going to have these feats of these specific abilities available, but again, they're all movable. You can just slide them down, put them wherever you want. If the hotbars are unlocked, control, equal. I also put different axes in there and other weapons that I might be using to switch off with to hit different targets. Those are right here on the 9th bar. I also I put gear in here. Like some items got a little number by it, like this cloak. I hope in my HD that this video is clear enough. It's got a little number 2 in the corner. I slide that guy down to here. That's for an ability that the rest of the gamers call a clicky. And this is just a manual click with your mouse. Left click on it, and it will apply that ability to your character. I have this a secretive black hood. I didn't even load this into my hotbar. It's got one thing that gives you bonuses to your hide and move silently skills. And I'm just going to click it so you can see what happens. I clicked it and made the motion of like a spell cast. And now in the upper left hand corner, that ability has been applied. It's showing you on screen. I hope that helps with stuff. Even out of your inventory, you can drag and click anything down there. Anything that you might be using. If you open up your inventory page, as long as I'm on it, there's this box pops up and it's showing you all of your gear choices. And anytime you hover your mouse over it, you're going to get a notification or another pop-up window that's showing you exactly what it does after you sit on it. It's important if you want to read quickly because you can't remember what all your stuff's doing or whatever, or you want to examine something. Just hover your mouse open and another window should pop up. Also over here in the lower left-hand corner of this, these are weapon sets. Now, they call it a weapon set because it's two pieces of equipment that you can put together in one clicky, kinda, and then it'll equip both of them automatically when you click it, so you don't have to do it individually. And I have this particular whole weapon set. It's two clubs loaded way over here on the left in case I run into that type of mob. And you'll see you can slide two weapons in here. I don't want to bind that item to me, so hold on. I'll just click on this and you'll see on screen my character changes to two big clubs. And I click back. You don't have to do that with a single weapon. So this is mostly if you're a dual wielding fighter or sometimes you need weapons for different monsters in the game. You load them in here. You can make tons of weapon sets, like 20 if you need to. So I hope that's a little bit better explanation rather than me just ramming through the game. Like, I'm gonna hit Control equal or Control plus to lock those bars back in again. And then you saw my character just make the animation of a trip, and I've hit it with my number 1 on my keyboard. So these are all lined up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 9 is blank. But I'm sure I'm going to find something else to fill that in with later. Here's your trip animation. There's your sunder. Sorry, that was cleave. That's another attack for number 3. hope that clears that up a little bit. Now, I'm going to go over here. Yeah, here's your path. I'll go lead down. It's been a while since I've been back here, and a lot of this has been redone over time. The game's been around a little while. I believe you're going to be stepping out over in this area, and this is like the beginning stages of DDO, or Dungeons and Dragons Online. Uh, it's where it kicks you out and starts you. And it's right back here. Now, there's an option to skip the beginner quest, in which case you're just going to end up with your gear. If you didn't, you got to go through that short quest with the rest of the characters that are computer controlled. You meet Salimus and the rest of the crew over there. Now, what we're going to show here is you equip your weapons. You manually drag on the inventory these items, the beginner items that you got, to the spot that it goes in. Then you get a notification. If you, I don't know if you're playing with headphones or with just the raw speakers, but you'll hear the sound of that item equipping, and you'll notice your stats change too when you do have it on. And if I don't have this, um, I had a cosmetic armor on. You'll also see your character visually on screen wear it. There you go. I just equipped that robe. I have a cosmetic gear item that's covering that. Same thing in the center there too. You can modify your head and your body if you have cosmetic items that you want to show. No big deal, I don't think. And I'm sure at the character creation screen you spent a good amount of time making the guy, hopefully, how you like it. If you did start out as a human fighter, his look. There are a lot of options out there. Hair color has dyes in the game. Like you can pay if you feel the need to make your character, exactly what you want. First thing I would also do out here is, like, if you rolled up with your buddies or with just yourself, is go to check the social panel here and see who's on. I have to go and do the search by accessing the who, and there's been something glitchy for a long time about the who's showing everybody who's online you at that time. But there's been a glitch where you got to hit the search for the group panel to load up your options correctly. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know if that's what they intended, but it still happens to me. On this page, and I'll just run through again so that you can see what's going on, is the social page. So I access it down here by the main menu, and then social, and closed it. I'll do it again, open it back up. Now, if you just rolled up yesterday, you're gonna hit this guild option here, and you're not gonna you're gonna see a thing there to join guilds or to start a guild. This guild page is just showing me all the players that are in my guild. You can see their area. You can click on the member, see where they are, and when their last time was on. You can also scroll the list, from highest to lowest on last on. Your friends page also has a button up here in the upper left hand corner to show hide your offline friends, or to show your all of them. You can see the little green icon shows that they're online if you're in this mode. And then the who, this is scrollable on the right, showing everybody that's on this server right now. It's kind of full. Now, the grouping up here is what you're after if you wanted to join a group. Showing show groups I am not eligible for, or hide content I do not own. It's like if you don't want to look at anybody else's and you created a group, you could hide the rest on this list so you're the only one on here. On the groups that are available, like I only have one that's available right now that's posting for something. I'm not going to join that right now for the purpose of this video. They're doing a lot higher content than I am ready for. On the groups that are available, it shows who's running the group and their little icon and type of character, where they are. If you hover above it, like it's showing Proudmouth is in Misery's Peak right now. It shows the status of the adventure. It's been in for 2 minutes. And this is the note that Proudmouth wrote on there. He's saying he's going to do Korthos Elite. You can hand type these notes when you create a group. And then over here, it also shows that he's in Misery's Peak. That's the quest he is in. All the classes he has modified for his thing that he wants or that can join. And the level range, just showing 1 to 2. It's like that all the way up to like level 30. Same thing. They're just doing higher difficulty quests. This is something I would join right here, even though I'm a little bit of a low level for it. I'm not going to do that because I'm not done recording this video, but I'm trying to get, if you started tomorrow, get you some information on what is all cracking with all this stuff. The next thing I'm going to show is I'm going to get out of this area, if I can find the way, and I'm going to head back to an area that's called the harbor. I'm just going to click on this. Yes, I'd like to go to Stormreach Harbor. Left clicked again. And we were here earlier. I ran across this dock. This is a little bit more advanced area from the beginner stages of Korthos. You can see these little chalices on your map. Mine are all blue because I've completed most of this. That means that you're done with the quest. But all of these little chalices, and I'll try to expand that map. I'm dragging and pulling that map down, and I'm hovering over a guy named Brother Maiden Malden. and he has like a blue chalice right now. But if there's a quest that is available for you to do, and it's in your level range, it'll be yellow on your map. Like deck Turan for me is a yellow one, meaning I didn't even start it. It's kind of in its unstarted phase, and it's blue when you've finished it or done it before and got the reward. This is a top view of the harbor area. You can see this green icons are usually for teleporters, and up at the top of this map, you can see, oh, that says taverns for that green one, but the green star are travel points that lead to different areas in DDO. And I just went all the way through this one in Corthos. Out on the island, here's the dock I ran over. I hope that helps a little bit. All kinds of things you can put on here and toggle on and off to show or not show. It's all up to you. Next, because I went over the mouse, your left hand is on a PC is the movement. The W for walking forward, the S for walking backwards. Excuse me. The 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 D for turning to the right, the A for turning to the left. And I guess after you get the hang of this, or if you already are a little bit of an experienced gamer, you can use that right click mouse button in conjunction with all of those keys and running. And you're in a safe area right now. There's not going to be any combat that's going to kill you in these wilderness areas. And take some time. I mean, I think it probably took me what 10 years ago. Uh, Probably took me a good 3 weeks to figure out, uh, to be somewhat competent at aiming a sucker. I mean, range, not accidentally hitting another button, all of those things. But it's like typing when you first start too. You got to do it to learn it. And I wanted to play all this other secondary stuff. I knew I was like, well, the way that my brain works is like I got to go do it to get interested and just learn it and then come back and figure out exactly what was going on. But that's how I work. I know not everybody's got the same kind of thing. Like I've always applied that philosophy to even things that I work on in my construction business. It's like, well, I already know that I've been through X amount of things and it's got to be close to something else that I did in my life. So I'll just go do it and find out what happens. If I mess it up, I mess it up. Big deal. No harm, no foul. Now, the other day I went through some things a little bit about Melee and what I did before I started this video. And this might be a little bit more advanced than what every gamer wants, but I had skipped over damage rolls and things. Now, I have the training dummy set up down here, and I just left click to attack one time. Bam. And I think this is showing, it's showing the hit, uh, and a thing called a double strike on it. I think it was what just happened on that thing. Now, I have shrunk down the chat bars here, and you can drag these all over your thing when the correct arrows show up. You can make these bigger, smaller. Once it's locked, it should be locked. Um, Even though I have the rest of these hotbars locked in right now, I always, as a matter of habit, hit control plus the number of the bar that I want locked in. And I'm going to do it again. Control 1 on my number pad. And that's what locks or tells the control gods which hotbar you want locked in for your number keys 1 to 10 up at the top. You could do control 2 if you wanted and have that be your main one and set and flip to. I don't even have anything in number 2 up here. All up to you. But I've taken the chat and I moved it into an area on my screen where it's not in the way. And there's all kinds of things on here. Party, general, guild, and the last one is combat. I pulled the combat log up here and you can see it says combat. It's because I like to watch to see what happened with DDO's combat sequence. And sometimes, like if I get killed, I like to see what happened to me. Why? Um, with this bigger screen, I keep it up here so that it's not in the field of action. I don't accidentally click it. But again, that's all up to you. This shows just the combat stuff. I also have party chat usually running down here for the people that's in my group. Now, the general is like everybody out there in Korthos or whatever instance you're in, I think. It's also telling me other things like when my friends logged on, when I got buffs. My guild is for my guild. I recommend trying to get in a guild as soon as possible if there's one that's going to take beginner players. Has quite a few benefits, like the ship and trade and other things. But again, that's up to you. Or if you were going to start a guild, maybe, or if you thought about trying it, that's cool too, you know. So for this next part of this thing, I was mostly going to try to explain uh, the sequence of events or what happens when you fire away or you cast a spell or in this instance swing with the monstrous great axe that's in my hand. Now, first thing is I left click and I hit it. And you'll see this little die on your screen somewhere. It usually starts out way back here hidden. And you can see it's rolling. It's rolling as I strike one time. Bam. It rolled a 10. That was a 20. All that whole die roll right there is your actual attack roll like the old pen and paper version. In this case, it's for the initial swing, but what you don't see is you don't see the computer rolling all the rest of your damage for you. Now, that is my purpose for having this bar up entirely. And the first thing that happens is you roll, and I have it in my combat log. You roll a 20, it says you hit. Next, there's another die roll that you don't see. And this is to confirm a critical on my training dummy. It says you rolled a 9. Now, that die roll that was up here with the visual didn't show this. So, right away, boom, a 19. It's resisting the critical hit on that right now. And it's showing 11 plus 61 is my other bonuses that are tied in to make that roll. Now, I'm not sure on the dynamics of what that is, but what's odd is it's showing other types of damage on here that I don't even have on my axe currently, as if it did. Uh, as if it did. Now, I'm not going to get into all that, but what I had done before this was I had pulled up the DDO wiki. Said that I didn't confirm it. The secondary die roll that nobody ever sees, bam, says, I didn't, it resisted it right here. Critical hit resisted. So I'm just going to swing again. Maybe I'll get a 20 or an 18 or a 17 and let the computer do its math. Now, it looks like just from base swings, and I'm not going to use a clicky here, is I got that number up to just a raw hit. I don't know. I'm looking for the main thing. Maybe 190. It's not a critical hit yet. And what it's doing then, if you take that 190 and multiply it times 4, what is that going to be? I don't know. Right around 760 damage? Should be about, and I say times 4 because I know that I have a critical multiplier of 1 from my strike with no thought. And if I open up the inventory page and show uh, my axe here that I have in my hand, it shows a little times 3 here. Okay, that means it should be times 4 if I roll a crit. And there's the number. I don't know if you just saw that scroll up. Why did it do that? What did I just hit it with? Anyway, 846 is your times 4 multiplier for that. It was the big raw number that came up. And that was on a 20. So thank God that came up quickly so I can end the video. But what you're doing is, I attacked the training dummy. I rolled a 20. And it says you critically hit. Then you roll to confirm that critical hit on training dummy. You roll a 9 plus 65. It's a critical hit confirmation. Bam, you got it. It doesn't say critical hit resisted. Then it takes that damage and it rolls it out. 4 times my base, it was probably around 190. It might have been 200. And it took that and multiplied it out 4 times. Training dummy for 846 points of slash damage. Bam, right there. Then all the other effects went off. All this other damage that you see coming up, the force damage, the fire damage, another 27 from fire damage, another 24 points of light damage, was from the effects on my weapon or other things that I got from being a fighter. I consider all these little minor ones to be a pretty big deal later on in the game. I had a post of a screenshot of one of my other characters rolling a 20 and looking at all the damage lines come up, or damage amounts come up above your character. Now, here's a shot again, and you can see those 2 hits register. The first big number is the raw slash damage that you did. The second number that's coming up is listed with an icon of fire next to it, showing a flaming effect on your weapon. The last one it's saying it's immune to, and that's holy. Training dummy doesn't have an alignment, it's just a dummy. I don't know why that's listed right there at 65 right there on the bottom. It's still slash. Is that a double strike? Is it my sneak attack? No, it does not say what it is. It's listed something as immune. And there's another, I don't know. Anyway, so that's just like a base attack. I didn't use any of the clickies down here to modify that. These predominantly, once you load them in, like we talked about loading, Deadly Strike and a Good Death are, it's kind of like special attacks that are going to do bigger amounts of damage for you and multiply that number out. Specifically, this one, a Good Death, when used below 30% health, it deals 500 damage that scales with my melee power. Um, what that number is coming out to, and I'll take this thing down to 1/3 health. And I'll just hit it. It's showing up here 1922 points of damage on it. And it listed the number after my initial slash damage. So I hit for 184 with the initial strike. This is an add-on bonus, and it listed the number separately. Now, keep in mind that's scaled with my melee power, and you saw the visual briefly. I hope it's clear enough. I'll do it again. I'll take him down to 1/3 health and pop it again. Maybe you could get a nice scroll view. And he's about 1/3. I'm going to manually click a Good Death on here. And there's that listing again. 1922. Quickly it comes up, as well as all the rest of the damage types with a little icon for the type next to it. So you can see that it does wind up pretty significantly at further levels. Now you can see there's light in there. That's coming off the axe. My battle meditation is what's doing it. Wait, insight bonus to attack. I have battle meditation on. Flaming blast and radiance, and flaming burst and aspect of radiance. Oh, and force critical and holy. So anytime I spec a melee, I'm working up this number. Now, I had a screenshot of a higher level tune that I'm going to put. I don't know. I guess I'll just link it onto the Facebook link. And I think the total is like up over 1,000 extra damage of various types. Now, that's not always going to work on all monsters, but odds are with the different types and stuff that you're going to hit something out of it all is going to hit and do damage to the monster. It's pretty funny. So anytime I try to make that up, you're forcing the server in that instance to come up with all of those amounts very quickly. You're forcing it to do the damage roll for your damage types and its slash or a special move, confirm the critical, see if that monster is immune to it or not. Like it probably sets that up first. There's a lot of really quick math that has to happen to determine what exactly he's, going down in a short period of time. You can see how fast you can attack. Sometimes my scroll won't keep up, you know. Anyway, I hope that helps you get the idea of swinging away, and if you're into the math like that, uh, it opens the doors for quite a few big damage builds. You think about it. Anyway, that's gonna end my video. I hope there's some beginners that started today. Have a nice day.